Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, and today I'm going to be going over a deck I actually built a very long time ago. I had a request for Yugioh recently, but as it turns out, I do remember playing a True King Yugioh variant back in mid-2017 when True Dracos were legal. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm going to have to explain some. Unfortunately, the best this version of the deck can do is still not much. Like, unfortunately, when I was playing just a regular Yugioh deck, it didn't really do anything. The Wind Witches, they didn't even belong in the Yugioh deck. Like, you either played the Wind Witches or you happened upon the Yugiohs, and it felt like the Yugiohs were weighing the Wind Witches down, and it felt like they were weighing everything down, really. So I decided to take a different approach and put in True Kings again. So let's get into it and I'll explain. One cam, just draw a card, recycle your stuff. It's kind of important that it only shuffles into the main deck. So if you got stuff you want to put in the extra deck, there's another card I have for that, but this doesn't do it. But either way, draw one card, level 4 body. One thing I would suggest is, I forgot to put it in here, but I would play a Totem Bird, because this deck can make it a lot of the time usually. Then we got one Eagles, really just to summon off of the guys I'm going to go into later. Level 1 tuner, and he's good to summon on his own. Griffin, probably the best card you want to see with Diagram. If you destroy it in hand for Diagram, or you toss it for Dragon Ravine, you get to summon any Yugioh from your deck, but you can only do it once per turn. It's kind of based on the baby True Draco Dinos stuff. You can see this one, it misses timing, but only to one thing. I'll explain once I get done with the main deck how you can avoid missing timing with this deck. But it summons all your little guys. It summons this, and Winda. Very good, and it's a level 3 tuner for Pelika to make what's her name? Freeze. Then we got Squirrelo. When he's destroyed, again, you can avoid missing the timing. When he's destroyed, you can special summon a level 5 or higher Yugioh, which sounds pretty terrible, but it's not that bad because I play 2 that help you make good synchros. Then we got 3 Maria. I'm not even going to finish the name. So 3 Maria. Just the ultimate True Draco for this deck. True King, I should say. It acts like a True King. This is the card that you need to be careful with for missing timing. So, when you see, and if you do on a card, when you're destroying it, you don't have to worry about that card making your card miss timing. Because if you do, means it won't be the last thing to happen. It will be simultaneous. So cards that are can effects that need destruction won't miss timing. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. That's why Boxia doesn't make your Yang Zings miss timing. But if you destroy 2 wins for this, and you can get both of their effects, do not use the other effect to banish 4 cards from their deck, because if you do, they will miss timing. So, kind of dangerous. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Just don't do it. Then we got 2 Pelika, because you can already summon it out with so many things in the deck. There's no reason to play 3. And then once you have 1, you can just recycle it with Shrees and make Shrees and Shrees and Shrees and over and over and over again. 1 Rees. She's pretty decent in a late game scenario. Just switch control of one of your floaters for one of their guys, and it's not that bad. This one's also pretty decent. It allows you to make Cloud Castle, which is an easy VFD, and even if you're under the wind restriction, you can still make Phantom Fortress. And then 2 water just to summon the wind out of the deck. 3 Vortex Trooper, because this deck bricks a lot. So you can just shuffle in the cards you don't need and just draw 2 fresh cards. And then when it's destroyed itself, whether it be from Maria or Diagram, you get to draw a card. And finally, Window for the last Yugioh. And this one's just here as an extra body that is a non-tuner you can summon off of Goldo. And last one is Destrudo. And Destrudo you can summon to make Ancient Fairy, which can get you to the field spell you want to get to. And Dragon's Ravine is very good because not only does it send Destrudo, but it triggers your Griffin. Then 3 Diagram, 3 Terraforming, 1 Teleport for Pelika. This one's the one that can actually put cards back into the extra deck. Not to mention you can recycle it with Freeze. And then you get to just blow up a card your opponent controls when you activate it. So that's pretty good. Soul Charge because it's unfair. And then Reborn because it's just as unfair, just in a different way. And I wanted 2 traps. And they should honestly be Scoldings, but I just put in Strike because this deck pays a lot of life, actually. With Destrudos and stuff and Soul Charge, it pays a lot of life. So you don't want to give up everything. And most of the time, some of my best combos, I only end with 3,000 life. So I couldn't even play Scolding without killing myself. For the extra side deck, I didn't bother making on this one because this is just a fun, casual deck. There's not really too much you can do to make it competitive. You can fill it with traps, but then you'll realize it doesn't matter anyway. I'm just better off playing something else. So, 1 Cloud Castle just to make another rank 9. Crystal Wing you can make fairly easily in the deck. Also, it gets around the wind restriction. Eagle's pretty good. It's weird that he's the only one that banishes wind monsters, but he can actually just banish the wind monsters you don't care about banishing, like Maria and Vortex Trooper. So that's cool. Guldos, the original Winda. It's almost just like this card, except it has to shuffle into the main deck, and it can only target a face-up. But because it's in the extra deck, it's more consistent. And 3 freeze allows you to grind out your opponent. They have to waste resources to just destroy it, and like battle is not an option because they take all the battle damage, and it can't be destroyed by battle. So this is a real problem, and if you just keep making these, they eventually just get to the point where they can't out the second to last or the last one. Ancient Fairy I explained earlier. Stardust Dragon, because there's a time where you go VFD and you can make a level 8 Synchro, and in that scenario you can make Crystal Wing, but if you already have VFD, that's just redundancy, and you don't actually have anything to protect your field, so in that scenario, Stardust way better, and it gets around the wind restriction. This gets around the wind restriction, and it's kind of like a much better version of Ouroboros. Calamities, this card's unfair. Decode, Great Fly, which is actually really nice. I think you should actually play 2 of them in here. That's just me, because you can just keep recycling them. And then 1 Underclock Taker. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a fun deck. There's not much I can do to make it better. I've tried so many different types of Gusto decks. I've tried Wind Witches. They didn't fix the deck. They were just their own separate engine. Pelika's really good, and Freeze is really good. Those are the most solid cards in the deck. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's just the deck could use some like work, but there's not much you can really do to improve upon it. So yeah, that's about it for me. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinner Flags will take your soul.